afternoon, everyone. It's nice to be, you know, getting into our holiday, as we know, getting ready for the open street at Fifth Avenue, which we announced yesterday. One more time, we hope that all New Yorkers and visitors they will be shopping through Fifth Avenue. In the previous year, we have seen an increase of sale through Fifth Avenue by making that corridor more pedestrian friendly. And today, with our second announcement, which is the Blue Highway, we're going back. It's a renaissance. It's looking about things that New Yorkers used to do hundreds of years ago, and learning from that and using, the same method and mode of transportation. So my name is Ydanis Rodriguez, and I'm the Commissioner of the New York City Department of Transportation. It's a pleasure to be here today. Thank you all for joining us here at Pier 79, a place that today can become something new for New York City. New York City's history is rooted in its waterways, not right now, but decades ago. Yeah, even myself, as I live in Inwood, living there since '83, I know that when I look at the Dyckman Marina and the Dyckman in the East River, those two areas, they used to be marina where people moved before the GW. That was a way of how New Yorkers from Jersey and New York, they moved from one state to another. So the city's location and access to rivers in the Atlantic Ocean made it the perfect place for commerce and transportation by water. The rise of the automobile changed transportation, but we are here today because what is old is new for us and for future generations. To make our city transportation future greener, safer, and better, our waterway must become blue highways. As a former council member that I was for 12 years, what I learned by the New York City Charter is that DOT is responsible to manage 27% of the land, and we can have better use of our water and provide a safer and efficient way of the moving of people and vehicles. That's why we are launching our first Blue Highways freight route from Atlantic Basin in Red Hook right here to Pier 79. Every day, nearly 90% of the goods that come into this city travel by truck. This creates congestions, pollution, and wear and tear on our streets. And again, trucks are not our enemies. They're here because we demand. It's about the consumers. 85% of New Yorkers, they place an order once a week through Amazon, UPS, and FedEx. And 24% of New Yorkers, they placing orders 4 times a week through the same UPS, FedEx, and others. But we know that streets are more crowded and deliveries are made more slowly. Parking can be a real challenge. Deliveries workers may end up double parking, and when there's double parking, it affects the visibility, and that slows down our buses and city drivers even more, and have major negative impact on pedestrians and cyclists. All of these contribute to increased carbon emissions, increased costs for businesses, and greater safety risks on our streets, especially for pedestrians and cyclists. But today we begin shifting to a 24th century freight system, one where the middle mile, the last mile, moves by water, and where the middle mile move by water, and the last mile move by sustainable mode like cargo bike, and those who will be using truck, we hope that they will be using a smaller and electric one. But simply, this is how we get trucks off our street and cleaner air into our lungs. Thanks to our partners at NYCEDC, NYC Waterway, and the DutchX, freight is now arriving by ferry boats to this pier. Starting today, 300 to 400 parcels, everything from domestic, and I know that my daughter plays some orders through some domestic, to household items will be transloaded off a ferry like one behind me into electric pedal assisting cargo bikes like the ones next to me for deliveries across Midtown. And this is only the beginning. More to come. As we said before, we cannot plan for 1950. We must plan for 2050. And as operations continue to scale up, so will be the benefit. There will be fewer miles driving by trucks, less double parking, and more reliable deliveries. And we know that when we make the streets safer, it brings great outcome to everyone. As we've been sharing before, this year, there's 50 more lives than what we had last year. New York, as the Washington Post has acknowledged, that New York City had the lowest number of traffic days when we compare to any other city in the nations. So what we are doing here also contribute to improve safety to our pedestrians and cyclists. What we're doing here at Pier 79 is a model, one that we will replicate at other piers across the city. All of these pieces together fit together, and along with blue highways tie into a single vision, a vision where our streets are safer, our air is cleaner, and our neighborhoods are calmer and more livable. New York's future doesn't only run on asphalt, it runs on water. When we shift freight from crowded roads to our open waterway, everyone wins. Our small businesses win, our commuters win, our climates win, and so New Yorkers who walk, bike, or drive on our streets. Thank you to our partners at the Hudson River Park Trust and NYC DOT staff, including what I have said before, the best first deputy commissioner that any agency on any Department of Transportation have, which I had the lucky to have, Margaret Forgione, Eric Bitton, Charles Kimball, Huma Hobsain, Kerry Goleski, John Garvey, John Regan, Taylor Takahashi, Moon Hang, Erica De Crescenzo, and Daniel Zuckerman. This team and many other members of the agency, DOEDC, make everything possible. Thank you for all helping turn this idea into action and believing that the harbor is once again the heart of how New York City moves every day. And because Spanish is my first language, I got to say a few words in Spanish. Para mí es un placer estar aquí anunciando la iniciativa de Blue Highway en el primer plan piloto, que es traer los freight, los delivery que llegan a Manhattan a través de los botes. 70% de toda la carga que llega a Brooklyn viene para Manhattan. Y hoy con esta iniciativa lo que estamos trabajando es para que cuando esas cargas están en Brooklyn, usemos ahora el agua. Esto no es algo nuevo. Nosotros somos una ciudad que siglos atrás siempre se movía a través del agua. Cuando usamos el agua para mover las cargas, además de los camiones, contribuimos porque reducimos los camiones en la carretera que contribuyen a la contaminación del medio ambiente. Nos aseguramos que los productos se puedan mover de una forma más eficiente y más segura. Así es de que hoy estamos llegando al final de este año haciendo un trabajo no solamente para asegurarnos que las cargas por los Blue Highway se hagan eficientes y seguras, sino también de una forma que contribuyan a la seguridad, especialmente de los peatones y los ciclistas. Para nosotros es una gran oportunidad estar aquí con otros miembros de otras agencias, en representación de esta administración y asegurarnos que el Blue Highway sea la nueva forma en cómo se garantizan los deliveries de la ciudad, desde los botes en bicicleta eléctrica y que desde aquí las cargas puedan llevarse a los negocios cerca de esta área. Now it's an honor to introduce Anton Fredrickson, Senior Vice President and Head of Port, Waterfront and Transportation Department at the New York City EDC.
Thank you, Commissioner. Good afternoon, and thank you all for being here. I lead our Ports, Waterfront, and Transportation Department at the New York City Economic Development Corporation. Before I begin, I just want to extend a massive thank you to our partners at NYC DOT, at DutchX, New York Waterways, for their leadership and partnerships in working to make the Blue Highways a reality. Today's microfreight pilot between the Brooklyn Marine Terminal and Pier 79 marks an exciting milestone in reimagining how New York City moves goods. The idea of a Blue Highways is something that has been talked about for over 20 years here in New York City. But I think it's safe to say that in the last 2 years, we have made more meaningful progress than the prior 2 decades combined. Most recently in October, EDC and DOT proposed a strategic shift for the future of freight movement in New York City. We released a Blue Highways Action Plan, which I have here, which is a comprehensive strategy for revitalizing short sea shipping and maritime freight in New York City. And it outlines the steps needed to unlock the potential of our waterways, including identifying more than 25 waterfront sites from the Brooklyn Marine Terminal to Hunts Point to downtown Skyport that we can activate as we build out our network. By shifting freight from our crowded streets onto our underutilized waterways, we're not just delivering packages, we're delivering a cleaner, safer, and more efficient future for all New Yorkers. As the Commissioner said, our city was built on its waterfront, and now through efforts like New York City's Blue Highways program, we're harnessing that legacy in a new way. By taking advantage of our waterways and prioritizing clean, last-mile delivery methods through partnerships with visionary companies specializing in microfreight like DutchX, we can ensure New Yorkers reliably and efficiently receive their goods. Just take a look at the Brooklyn Marine Terminal, the origin of today's pilot. In September, the Brooklyn Marine Terminal Task Force voted to approve a historic vision plan to transform the site into a modern 21st century, all-electric, maritime port and vibrant mixed-use community, which will serve as the linchpin of the Blue Highways network and the transformation of New York Harbor into a dynamic multimodal freight corridor. And just last month, we hosted the AIVP World Conference on Cities and Ports, which drew hundreds of urban leaders and maritime industry executives from across the country and around the world to the Brooklyn waterfront to exchange solutions and lessons learned, like the Blue Highways. This pilot is just the beginning. With public and private partners working together and new infrastructure and technology coming online, we're demonstrating what's possible for port cities across the United States. Thank you again to our partners and to everyone who has helped to make the Blue Highways a reality. The future of urban freight is here, and it's on the water. Thank you.
Thank you. Come on, let's give up. It's a holiday. Come on. Thank you, Anton. Now let's hear from Armin Pohan, New York City Waterways President and CEO.
Thank you, Commissioner Rodriguez. Before there were bridges, before there were tunnels, before there were roads, before there were trucks, there were ferries. Ferries were the lifeline for New York City, for bringing goods and people in and out of the city and around the city. So we've come full circle here again, and I say this also just from the experience of my own family. My family, my stepfather, Arthur Imperator, started in the trucking business. And for 40 years in the trucking business, through that experience, he learned the heartache of getting trucks in and out of New York City and around New York City. And so in 1986, he brought back an idea that had disappeared from the Hudson River, which is passenger ferry service. We were the pioneers in New York Waterway and passenger ferry service, and it served as a model not only for the development of ferry service all along the New Jersey waterfront, But New York City, under the Bloomberg administration, then brought ferry service to the East River, and now expanded under the de Blasio administration to all the boroughs. So we've been a part of the revitalization of ferry passenger service, and it is a great pleasure and honor for us now to be involved in the revitalization of freight movement by ferry service. Ferries are reliable. They're safe. We moved goods here today. The carts that are moving here today were moved here in about 25 minutes from Brooklyn. I defy you to do the same thing by truck. And so, again, it's great to be a part of this process. We look forward to continuing to work with DutchX, with EDC, with DOT. They've been great partners in bringing this to fruition, but we're at the beginning of a journey which I hope will be a long and fruitful one for all of us and for the city. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Now I will introduce Marcus Holt, co-founder of DutchX.
Thank you, Commissioner. In New York, we measure progress by what we finally stopped doing. Today, we are taking trucks and vans off our streets and replacing them with smarter solutions. For years, every retailer, every carrier, and every community/neighborhood has felt the impact of congestion. The challenges were clear, and so were the growing emissions. What New York needed was a system built to relieve that pressure. A system that worked in practice, not just in theory. The city needed a smarter way to bring goods closer to the final customer. Blue Highway is that. At DutchX, we have spent years building shipping models designed for urban cities. We electrified our operations. We built a multimodal fleet of electric vans, quads, and cargo bikes. But even with that progress, you eventually reach a limit. You cannot meaningfully improve the last mile without rethinking the middle mile that feeds it. What makes today historic? Not that New York is moving goods just by the waterways. It's for the first time in the United States, the maritime corridor is being used at the end of the supply chain. For decades, freight arrived in New York by vessel and then immediately shifted onto trucks. Streets carried the burden, and neighborhoods absorbed the impact. Blue Highway provides another path, one that will take pressure off the road network by delivering freight directly to Manhattan's waterfront. We will eliminate miles of unnecessary large vehicle travel and ease the strain of city streets. From there, smaller electric vehicles will carry parcels to the end customer, taking trucks and vans out of the places that fuel them the most, cutting emissions and giving this network room to breathe again. And for me, this moment is also very personal. I grew up in Amsterdam, a city that mastered the art of moving people and goods without overwhelming its streets. New York has that potential. It simply needed the right mechanism to unlock it. Blue Highways is that mechanism. A special thank you to our colleagues at NYC DOT, NYCEDC, and New York Waterways for their shared commitment to Blue Highways and to moving this city forward. This is a historical day, an historic initiative, the first of its kind, and we are very, very proud to bring it alive. Thank you all.
So let's never forget this day, December 11, 2025. Is the first day when New York City start using the pilot project, our Blue Highway. And as I said before about the NYC, New York City DOT ferry thing, thank you. You guys do a great job. You know, like not only with this, but also being charged to honor this pier and many other sites here and Chow, who oversee the whole freight division. Thank you for the great job. And now the moment is here. Now I want to gather everyone for the demonstration on how the DutchX will transfer the freight from ferry boat to cargo bike. And then we'll be back here in case anyone has any question. Gracias. Ready? Let's take a photo together. Come on, they're the ones who do the work. Come on. Let's give them a big round of applause. Come on, they're the workers.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.